Hello, guys. Welcome back to our channel, Gen X and Gen Z podcast with AJ.
And Cece.
And today's episode, we're going to be talking about why is everybody so lonely? Is
Is
there
there
a lonely epidemic
yes,
going on?
is it or is it not? We really want to know because a lot of people are feeling more lonely,
Than
more
ever.
alone than ever in 2026. So we're going to discuss what's happening here and how can we solve it.
Yeah. So, the first thing is
It says why people have more online connections but fewer real life connections.
And honestly, I feel like online it's easier to connect. Like I feel like on TikTok, for example, it's easy to find, I guess, a group where you have a lot of things in common. But then in real life, those people don't translate into real life because they be across the world. They don't even be where you be. So it's like how can you sit there and be like, "Oh, like I have a lot of people online, but then nobody in real life or offline, I should say."
Well, I feel like when you have so many friends online versus in real life, I feel like they're fake. They're not really real. They're just like it's not really you're not really building a true connection. Now you may have be around like-minded people online, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you got a bill that's due and you're about to get put out of your house, will that same particular person come through for you? No. It's true. It's hard to find even people in real life to be able to do that for you. So I just feel like the reason why some people have so many online friendships is because it's online. There's nothing that they have to sacrifice or give in that relationship.
Or even be genuine.
Yeah, so it's really a genuine connection. Now it can be somebody or a situation where you can keep each other company if you're chatting online or something like that. But will this friendship stand the test of time? And I just don't think it
And
will.
it doesn't have no emotional like connection because you haven't met in person. Like they're hiding most of the time. You don't even know what they. Sometimes you don't even know what they look like. Like they're behind the screen. Like,
Right.
and I think that's something that people gotta understand. It's fine to have online connections, but also keep them online. Everything isn't meant to travel offline.
Yeah, and speaking of online, do you feel like online relationships are causing people to be a little distorted in real life, and therefore that's stopping people from, making true connections or true friendships? This online thing or social media?
Mhm. I think so because I think people get a little too comfortable with online and not really translate that into reality, realizing that it's harder to meet people and make friends offline than online, but online give us that perception that, oh my god, like I just connected with this person easily because we're bonding over anime or we're bonding over K-pop. But then you get offline, then you look around and it's like, okay, first of all, how do I even get to know anybody? How do I strike up a conversation? Even though it's like it's more, it's definitely given it's definitely distorting our perceptions for
Yeah.
sure because we're expecting it because it's easier online, but then offline is harder. So we're kind of like,
And then when you log off, you're still alone.
yeah.
You're still by yourself. And so, again, it can be somebody for the time being, but is that something if you still facing a certain type of isolation, if you feel isolated or you feeling this loneliness, there's only one way to fulfill something like that, and that's by feeling it within. You got to do that yourself. I don't think that another person, whether online or real life, could do that for you. So, and then, because if you did have a real friend in real life and you was feeling lonely or isolated, something like that, you'll become a needy friend. And then that makes a toxic bond, and you don't want to create that. So I just feel like, you just need to be able to, if you can't sit with your own self, and if you can't sit in the loneliness of your own self, your own presence, your own energy, then that's a problem. Okay, and so you have to kind of fix that yourself. You can't depend on somebody else to do that for you. Now, that speaking of social media again, do you think that dating apps or anything like that is causing people to not go out and put in the work to date in real life?
Absolutely. I feel like dating apps is causing that. I feel like that's the whole point, supposedly, around dating apps to make it easier. So you don't have to be nervous. So you don't have to be rejected in person. So everything, when it happens online, is kind of like, okay, I don't feel it as hard versus offline. So now a lot of people feel like, online is kind of like that shield versus offline, where that's why we don't have a lot of people approaching anymore, because like everybody is relying on online behind the scene dating apps. So that's why you see less men going up to you, because dating apps, they rather be like, I could go at home and just be swiping right on anybody. And then, but in real life, it's kind of like you see somebody and they could be possibly attracted to you or not, and they still won't go up there because they're putting their self on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's kind of, to be honest, it is much more scarier if you really think about it, because like, I don't know this person, I don't know how they're going to feel about me. I'm taking a big chance on putting myself out there to possibly be rejected, or if they like me, they'll return a favor. Versus online, to be honest, everybody just be swiping. I don't think people really care on who they swipe it. It's just like, if I get a match, I get a match. It's kind of like, yeah.
And that creating, you're gonna be exhausted from that emotionally. It's just like, and so if you're online and you, I would say abusing the system. That's how I see it, because you're over there swiping, 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 and then when somebody don't respond to your messages or anything like that, you feel rejected. But are you being authentic? Sending out that many messages.
No,
It's
you're
like
not,
you sending out messages,
because you wouldn't do that
copy
in
and
real
paste.
life.
Yeah, you copy and paste into hundreds of women or men or whatever it is. It's usually men will do it. Copy and paste to 100 women, and then whichever one bite, then they'll be like, oh, okay, she responded. But then when she responded, you'll feel like, why she responding, the rest didn't, and
Right.
then you'll feel like you're above that one person.
Right.
So
You don't
it can
really
be
want them.
yeah, it can be emotionally exhausting. I think social media, I think you should go out there, and rejection is protection, I feel like. So if you get rejected in real life from someone, it's not really rejection. It's just like they just said no to your advance. They just did
They're
not,
not your person.
they're
They
not
don't
your
want you.
person. It's simple as that. It's not like what's gonna happen at the end of the day. You're gonna hear that no and you move on with your life, okay?
Yeah.
You didn't catch a bullet, nothing happened. You okay? You're gonna survive it. It just makes you stronger if that's how you look at it. But again, don't go out there with a weak mind frame or you emotionally unstable, and then you go out there and get rejected, then you get pissed off, and then it's just like it's a snowball effect.
Right.
So yeah, you got to make sure you're mentally stable before you do that. And I feel like when people are online, they know that they're not 100% there. So
Right.
so that's why I don't deal with online things. I feel like online is just only for making money, business, advertising, marketing. But when it comes to dating, I think the
Don't
real
put your
world is the
emotions
best.
online. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't put your emotions online. Don't sit there and like expect anything serious from dating online, because I always say people dating online to me be people that, I don't know, I wouldn't come across in a daily life. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
because
know.
they too busy in the house in the basement, not coming out. It's like come out the
Mhm.
cave, baby. Come out and get some sunlight. Enjoy yourself. Now, I was on this app called Threads, and I see a lot of women. They'll move to different states, and then they'll say, "Well, I don't like this state because I haven't made any friends." And these are grown women. They feel like they haven't made any friends. They feel like this may not be their place. Do you feel like it's hard to make friends as an adult after you leave high school and college?
Um, I do think so, because I feel like, I mean, you're adulting, like you're doing adult things.
Period.
I think that's the obvious, but also in high school, you have to realize you're not an adult, you're a child. So you're bonding during after school activities, during class, during this, but then you also realize that high school friends you're not gonna see after you graduate. Like, I have yet to see any of my high school friends after I graduated. Like, and that still holds true. I
Hmm.
moved from the place that I used to live in high school, haven't seen or been in contact with any of them other than one.
All right.
Deleted my social media, like, from that stuff. I haven't seen them, have no contact with them. So to me, I just feel like, honestly, it's one of those type of things where it is harder to make friends as an adult, but at the same time, I also felt like certain states, I felt like it was easier. Like where I came from previously, it was easier for me to make friends. In my
Right.
opinion, it was easier for me to make friends. And now I moved to a different state where I'm seeing that I'm not really focused on making friends, and I'm really content with the friends that I already have
All right.
made, and I'm still in contact with a lot of them. So
And there's a difference between high school friends and college friends, because I feel like in high school, like you said, you're still a child, you're still being taken care of, so you can do those type of things. But then once you leave college, I mean, high school and go to college, then now you're away from your parents. If you go off to college, you're away from your parents, and then you starting to form your independence, and then you're around other kids or other college students who are also forming their independence, and then those friends in college I feel like are a little more solid than high school friends
Agree.
because again you building your independence together. You're out there building a life for yourself, education and stuff like that for yourself, away from your family and your friends. And so they become somewhat of your family, and that builds a stronger bond versus high school, I believe.
Yeah.
And so after that, after you leave college, and now it's time, like you said, it's time to adult, okay? Whether you're going out starting a family, starting a career, starting a business, whatever you're doing, everybody is doing something. Now life is happening. So it's hard to stay in touch. Um, it's hard to stay in touch, but when you have true friends from college, you can still catch up. You can talk to each other and catch up. It's like you never skip the beat. You can always catch each other up. But if you don't have that and you try to make friends as an adult,
It's gonna be
it's
hard
gonna be hard.
because it's like
Yeah,
adults. Really, to be honest, from my mindset, I'm not looking to make friends in my adult mindset.
right.
In college, I was looking to make friends because I was a new adult and I was independent, and I was gravitating towards people that also was like that. So, and even to this day, I'm still in touch with them. But at the same time, we're not texting every day. We're doing our own independent
Right.
stuff.
That's healthy.
Exactly. And it's like you're an adult. So it's like trying to make friends really isn't on most adults' minds. It's like I'm trying to be successful. I'm trying to buy a house. I'm trying to start my own business. It's a lot that I'm trying to do, and I'm not focused on it. Be like, hey, are you free this Friday?
Right. And then when you do have your moments, it feels good to be together. It's just like you never missed a beat, and then you can go back to your real life or you go back to your life, your adulting life, and that'll be good. But again, like the women that I see on Threads, they move to different states and stuff like that, and they longing for friendship. But it's like, sis, have you did the work within? Have you did that that self work, that self love? You should not go to a state and be looking for so-called friends. You go to find you, and in the process of finding you and discovering you and building you, then you can create connect with like-minded people. But to blame a state on, oh, this state is not for me because nobody's clicking up and I'm not being making friendships, it's like, girl, go book you a therapy section.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
there's nothing wrong with that.
no, you shouldn't be relying on somebody else. Like by yourself or being alone in your own space shouldn't feel like a burden. It should feel like happiness and peace, especially when you've done the work and realize that you don't need nobody else for that.
Yeah, and they say now that there's a decline when it comes to community spaces, churches, clubs, and neighborhood connections. So that's it. Without those things, some people are feeling like it's hard to connect. How you feel about that?
I mean, I think so without that stuff. I do
Mm-hmm.
think so, but at the
Right.
same time, it's like I'm also the type of person where I feel comfortable being with myself, where I don't need to go out and get a community to feel whole within.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's the big thing. So to me, I have never been like I guess you could say a huge community person. I mean, I'll see some stuff and be like, do I want to go there or do I not? Like, I've had people, like I said, that invited me to stuff, and it's like if I like want to go and connect with them, I would go. But if not, I'll just be like, I'm just the type to be
And
very
friendships are
content
too
with
starting to
myself.
be
Yeah,
hard. It's like another relationship that you have to build,
mhm,
and you have to constantly, nourish that relationship. And sometimes, as when I become an adult at a certain age, it's like, girl, I just want to enjoy this house that I'm paying for.
mhm,
I want to enjoy my space. I like being with myself, and so I don't feel like, because the last job I was at, they people were always asking you, let's go do this, let's go do that. And then come to find out what they want to do is something I just really don't
don't
want to
want to
do.
do.
And I don't want to mess up their night. Like, go have your fun. It's just like, it's not something that I'm looking to do right now. It's not that I'm antisocial or don't want to be part of a community. It's just like, I don't want to be obligated to do something that I'm not desiring or
Yeah,
I want to do just because I want to so-called have a friendship.
yeah,
I don't, not that friendship is not important. I think it's important when when it's stable and it's healthy. But yeah, I don't want to be dragged along just to get along.
right,
No,
right.
I don't want that. And if you can't respect the fact that, girl, I'm staying home tonight,
Mhm.
then yeah, we can't be friends
Yeah,
anyway.
would not
Not
make
at
sense.
this age right now. Now, so I feel like with the decline of community spaces, like we had a lot of community growing up. So I had a lot of different groups of friends and stuff like that. But sometimes those are not solid friendships all the time. So
Mhm.
it just all depends. And then with churches, people go to churches now, but then you can build community in churches and things like that, but I wonder, will the community still be strong if you're not giving that 10% tithe? Okay, if you're not tithing every week, like the churches are requesting and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But either way, I think that you can build community there because when the churches actually participate in community activities,
Mhm.
giving back to the community. I feel like that's a great thing to do on your spare time and
Yeah.
to meet people. Also, like clubs, like y'all don't go to clubs, and then when y'all do go to clubs, y'all on y'all phones. Y'all don't club like we
It'd be
used to
like.
club back in the day. Like we used to be on that dance floor, baby,
Mhm.
getting it. But y'all be on the phone taking pictures, Instagram pictures and videos and reels, and then once you do that, it's just you just sitting there.
The first time I went to club with some of my friends I actually met in college and stuff, and mentioned, mind you, we're not club people at all.
Mm-mm.
We went there. It was so much going on. We were getting lost. We had to lock arms. It was a
That's too much.
mess.
Y'all had like y'all on a field trip at third
It was a
graders.
lot, and then we sat up there. And then it was so much like we had to get in because our IDs wasn't flipped the correct way. We had to sneak. They
Y'all
had
didn't
to.
see y'all Gen Zs didn't update y'all IDs
We did
because y'all was
not.
over 21. Y'all just didn't update your
No, we was
IDs.
exactly 21.
Exactly. So y'all
Yeah,
just
we just didn't do it at the time.
yeah.
So it's like yeah.
But yeah, but even if y'all do go to the club, baby, y'all not gonna enjoy the club
Mm-mm.
at the full extent. Y'all act like y'all too cool for school,
I'm
so
not a club
it's too
person.
much. So now also it says when it comes to remote work and technology increase, do you think that feel like with social media and social interaction? I guess to kind of go back to what we were saying, you know. Um, are we building true connections via social media like Instagram and all that stuff like that, and then when you're working from home you kind of isolated. So a lot of people are working from home. So do you feel like the isolation from remote work is causing people not to make friends?
Uh, yeah, I do
Hmm.
think that like, cause how you gonna make friends staying at home? They're not gonna come knock on your door. But at the same time, it's like online, so it does make people turn to online if you really think about it. Because it's like I work from home, I don't go out that much. I only go out when I need to, and then so you kind of have to rely on online, but at the same time online never goes off online. If you think about it, if you meet somebody all the way in Michigan or you meet somebody all the way in Jamaica, like how you gonna meet with them? That's not really a real friendship. So at the end of the day, technically you're still alone, like working, whether you're working from home or not, and you still meeting people online, it's the same thing. But like I said, working remote, yes, you are isolated.
Right, but even if you're working in the building, do you really make real friends at work?
No.
Your work friends are not your real friends
Mm-mm.
for
And
real.
don't think they
Cause
are.
Sarah and Susan go tell on you in a minute, girl, and you think that y'all was cool. We
And a
went to
lot
go
of
get
gossip
lunch.
and drama,
Yeah.
and it's like it doesn't work out. So don't ever for a second think work people are genuine friends, because they're
No.
not.
So if that's the case, like give me the work from home, because I never consider people that I work with my friends. Now, do I get along with them, coworkers? You like may have lunch together, may have a surface level conversation. I'm not gonna get too deep with them because you just never know when they're gonna go and backstab you or go to the office, report you. Next thing you know, Cece, can I speak to you in the
Can you
office,
come in the
please?
office,
Yeah,
please?
it's like what? And then and Sarah been smiling in my face all day.
And saying good morning, how are
Good
you?
morning,
How
how
was
you
your
day?
weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, what are you planning on doing this weekend? Knowing she know that she don't want to report at me.
No.
So yeah. So it's like why people feel emotionally disconnected even while in relationships. Is that possible?
I think so. Maybe because you're not really connected to the person. It could
Right.
just be that. Like, I feel like every connection, just because you're in a relationship, every connection isn't emotional, if that makes sense. Like, just because you're dating somebody, sometimes people are in it for different reasons. Everything isn't emotional, and sometimes you're not compatible with people emotionally, especially like everybody have different love languages and stuff like that. Like I just feel like yeah, you could be in a relationship and be disconnected.
If you're in an emotional, unstable relationship or a relationship that doesn't have emotions, is that really a relationship?
No,
Like,
it's
what are
more
you
like
doing
a
here?
No, it's more like a. It don't make sense. I don't see why somebody would want to do that.
No, so yeah, you
And
just
some
wasting
people do
time
it for like money.
just
So
so they won't be
money,
alone too.
yeah, and alone. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I want company, so I might just date you, even though I know I don't have feelings for you. Sometimes it's a lot of reasons.
Right. So, do you think there's a difference between being alone and feeling lonely?
Um, that's a good question. I feel like being lonely is more of a being alone is actually something like you're alone. Lonely is a feeling. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
oh, I feel lonely, but I can't feel like I don't know. Like yeah, I feel like I feel lonely, but then alone is like I'm actually alone. So it's kind of like
Yeah, I could be alone and not feel lonely.
mhm
Like I could be alone and enjoy my company, enjoy my space, enjoy the activities that I'm doing. Just I could be in just bliss, just happy, just to be with myself in my
mhm
nice, comfortable home. As long as I got food here, as long as I got everything that I need, I could be good and not feel lonely at all. Now, when you in the mind frame of being lonely, I think that's
then
maybe
you
more
do feel
concerning.
uncomfortable
Yeah,
being
yeah,
alone.
that means you're uncomfortable being alone. You're uncomfortable sitting in your own space. You're uncomfortable with your own energy, and that to me is a problem. And you need to
Mhm.
fix that. You need to fix that. So again, I feel like you can be alone and not feel lonely. But if you feeling lonely, you feel alone.
Yeah, it's hard to be
And
alone.
yeah, and
So
it's hard to be alone when you're feeling lonely. So
yep.
yeah, so and I feel like that's a self thing. That's an inner work type of thing you need to do because even you can feel alone and be lonely in the room with people sometimes.
Yeah, that's true because people will be ignoring you
Yeah.
and talking amongst
Yeah.
themselves while you send to the side and won't even turn around and be like, "You want to come over and join us?"
Mhm. You can be alone and feel lonely in a family that's not loving or caring or attentive to what's going on in your life.
And the relationship
Or
too.
support in a
It's a lot.
relationship as well. So I feel like when you're feeling so-called lonely, you need to
That's a
tap
problem
into
within
that. Yeah,
yourself.
you need to
Yeah.
figure out why is that. Why you feel lonely in a room full of people. Why you feeling lonely in a relationship. Why you feeling lonely even when you by yourself.
Yeah, because can't nobody feel that void but you.
Right, right. You can't depend
Hmm.
on nobody to do that for you. Now, um, now when we were speaking about rejection at first, it says how fear of rejection and trust issues affect the modern friendships and dating.
Mm.
So I think that, like again, it affects it because some people are afraid to get rejected. So if they're afraid to get rejected, they're not going to approach, and then there they go, feeling lonely, feeling alone,
Hmm.
and then sometimes they can feel so lonely and alone they can go out there and approach the wrong person, get into a toxic relationship or a relationship that consists of trauma bonding, like you guys bonding over loneliness, bonding over
Because
family
it's
drama.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to be toxic. So I just feel like again that's a within an inner thing that you got to fix, and before you go out and try to do anything, and then you don't want to bring somebody else into that type of energy that you already uncomfortable sitting in yourself.
Hmm.
So
It's not
yeah,
fair to the other person.
it's not fair. So I feel like the fear of rejection is something that tells you that you need to. Why would you think that somebody's going to reject you? What is it about yourself that you don't like and you don't feel like it's up to code? So that's the reason why you feel like you're going to be rejected. Now you could be like, well, I get rejected every time I go out and
Because
every
that's how
time I
you
bother
feel
somebody.
about yourself. Like if
Yeah.
you're you gotta realize the way you feel about yourself, you project it whether you know or not.
Right.
Like if you feel like, oh, I'm a lame person, then you're gonna project lameness, and people gonna pick up on it and be like, okay, he every time he walks in, he looks down. He don't ever look
No
straight ahead. Or
confidence.
yeah, it's like nobody wants to date an insecure person.
No, at
Like
all.
that's not
Because
a
an
good thing.
insecure person would haul off and slap you in a minute, honey, if you do something
Yeah,
that.
like they're gonna take everything
Yeah.
out that how they feel on themselves out on you, just because you're secure in yourself. Like
So build your confidence. Um, Look at your life and feel like what is about you that you don't like, that
mhm.
you are rejecting, and fix it.
Yeah.
Everything can be fixed. So, whether you have to have a therapy session, counseling, a walk in the park, sunlight, baby, are your hormones unbalanced? Wait, do you have any type of mental instability? It's some things that you have to fix yourself. So you can't expect somebody to like something about you that you don't even like.
About yourself.
Right,
Yep.
right, right. So now, again, Now, what do you think people can do to rebuild real life connections and community today?
Honestly, get out. Like, I feel like that's the obvious answer. You gotta get out, and you gotta really, like, be, like, for example, like, you really gotta put yourself in a place. Don't just go out there purposely looking for people, but go out there and enjoy yourself. Like, if you like going to concerts, I know I do. Go out there and do what you want to do, and people will gravitate towards you. You don't understand how many people gravitate towards me in concerts, and I'm just enjoying myself.
Mm-hmm.
And we just bonding over the love for music. Like, you don't understand that. But do I sit there and be like, oh my God, like, I have to build a friendship with this person? No. Like, I
It's
just
just in the
enjoy the
moment.
moment. Yeah, I
It's
just
about
enjoy
the
the
moment.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're enjoying that moment, and sometimes people come into your life for a reason and a season. Sometimes that season can be just a couple of hours at a concert, and that's beautiful. Okay. Sometimes you can get each other numbers, and then you can talk, and it could be 3 months, 6 months, 6 years that you can build that relationship. I think people try to hold on to stuff that's only supposed to be there for a season. It's like let it go when it needs to go, and then appreciate it for what it was, and for the time that you was able to enjoy that person. Don't be codependent on anybody. Just depend on yourself. Like, that you went to the concert to enjoy yourself, and if you found a group of girls or boys or guys or whatever, and you enjoyed yourself with them, and appreciate that.
Right.
Live in the moment. I feel like people need to be more present,
Mm-hmm.
for real. And so, when it comes to building community, start with you. Start with you. Let the community be you, and then anybody else that you see, whether they're in need of friendship, and you feel like you got a helping hand to give, then you can start there. But again, don't hold on to that person or that situation so tightly that if they feel like, okay, it's too much for me, that you can't let them go.
Mm-hmm.
Let it go. And then, because people come and go, communities come and go. Communities are big, sometimes they're small. So just be okay with letting energy come in and out of your life, the flow of life. Let that happen for you.
Yep.
So, and that's how you build community. But the community starts from within, I feel like.
Yep. Starts with you.
Yeah. So that's going to probably be it for us, talking about, this lonely epidemic. I feel like the lonely epidemic is within you. You have to be comfortable with your energy, yourself, and first before you can build on any type of friendship, relationship, or community.
Yep, I agree. Well said.
All right. So if you guys enjoy these type of videos, and if you guys are listening, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify via the podcast, if you enjoy this type of thing, make sure that you follow, subscribe, okay? Because we're
Like
going
the
to be doing this
video.
on a regular basis, and we really enjoy this. And I hope that these videos can help someone. Sometimes they're therapeutic to us as well. So, and if that's something that you enjoy, join our community.
Yeah.
Let's build, okay?
Yeah, and also, if you have any topics you want to hear us discuss, anything, just comment below and let us know.
Because we're willing to do it and talk about it. We would love to build community and have conversation discussions. And feel free to have any type of discussion that you would like in the comment section.
Yeah.
We're here for it, okay? But until next time, we'll talk to you
Bye.
later. Bye.